When Eleanor Finch retired after 42 years as a school librarian, everyone assumed her life would grow quiet, predictable, small. That was exactly what her children expected, and quietly relied on. Eleanor didn't notice it at first. It began with little things. A temporary stay that lasted 6 months. A borrowed credit card that was accidentally maxed out. A promise to pay her back as soon as things improve. Things never improved. Her daughter Claire moved back in after her divorce with 2 suitcases and a wounded pride. Her son-in-law disappeared, but the bills stayed behind. Then came the grandkids, the groceries, the repairs, the sudden emergencies that only Eleanor's pension could fix. "You don't really need the money," Claire would say lightly. "You're safe. We're just getting back on our feet." Eleanor told herself this was what love looked like. Sacrifice, patience, endurance. Until the afternoon, she overheard a conversation she wasn't meant to hear. She had returned early from the pharmacy and paused in the hallway when she heard Claire's voice drifting from the kitchen, sharp and amused. "No, Mom won't say no," Claire laughed into the phone. "She feels guilty resting while we struggle. Honestly, it's kind of sad how easy it is." Eleanor stood frozen, her hand gripping the door frame. Her heart didn't break loudly. It cracked quietly, like old porcelain. That night, Eleanor didn't confront her daughter. She didn't cry. She didn't pack bags or make threats. She made a list. The next morning, she did something radical. She left the house. Not forever. Just long enough to remember who she was. She drove 3 hours north to a coastal town she had once visited on a school trip decades earlier. She rented a small room overlooking the water, ate fish chowder alone, and slept better than she had in years. Then she called a lawyer. When Eleanor returned home a week later, the house felt different, louder, more demanding. Claire barely looked up from her phone. "Did you pay the electric bill?" Claire asked. "It's overdue." Eleanor smiled, calmly, gently. "No," she said. Claire blinked. "What?" "I won't be paying your bills anymore," Eleanor continued. "You have 60 days to make other arrangements." The explosion came quickly. Anger, disbelief, guilt-tripping, tears. Accusations flew. "You're abandoning us! You're selfish! How can you do this to your own family?" Eleanor listened, truly listened. And then she spoke. "I gave you my help," she said, steady and clear. "You took my peace. I'm done trading one for the other." 2 months later, the house was quiet again. Claire moved out, furious but capable. The grandchildren still visited, on Eleanor's terms. The bills were paid. The pension was hers again. At 70, Eleanor bought a small cottage by the sea. She volunteered twice a week at the local library. She learned watercolor painting. She made friends who knew her not as a resource, but as a woman with stories. One evening, as she watched the tide roll in, Eleanor realized something important. She hadn't lost her family. She had found herself.